Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld with Kimberly Guilfoyle, Juan Williams, Jesse Waters, and she thinks the marble that she lives on is flat. Dana Perino, 5.
Oh my gosh.
Recently, CNN asked, with all the good news, why aren't people smiling? It's like the local skunk wondering why everything around him stinks. Their cluelessness results from a complete denial of how Donald Trump works, fueled by a confirmation bias that seeks only to prove their negative point. Take North Korea. Just months ago, it was nuclear war.
Trump's fury. The president is warning he'll respond to North Korea's taunts with a fire and power that the world has never seen. Will the war of words escalate into an actual nuclear war?
What he actually said is if there's going to be more threats, not an attack, but more threats from North Korea, we're going to see, in effect, a nuclear war.
The President of the United States today threatened nuclear war.
That did not age well, nor should it. We can't let the press forget it either, especially as Trump heads to an historic meeting with an unpredictable man with a strange haircut. But enough about Rodman. Rocket Man. Months ago, he was Dr. Evil, and now he's at the table. It reminds me of a sitcom from the 90s.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Oh, God. Now, before you say Kim wins by inclusion, isn't that how diplomacy works? You know, meet with the guy, talk to him. It's funny, dialogue used to be the left's safe word. We're always being told we need a national conversation about stuff. So here's an international conversation. Yet the same dopes who condemn Trump's fire and fury now chide the opposite. Maybe if Trump says he's dialoguing with Kim, CNN can avoid another crying jag. The good news, we've gone from fretting over war to debating the hotel bill. How could the press miss this? Well, they hate the guy, Trump that is. They're so married to safe, predictable politicians whose main risks involve choosing the red tie for the fundraiser. Trump runs circles around them because in his world, he had to. I said it before, Kim may be a dictator, but Trump's a developer from Queens. I'm not sure what's scarier. All right, I guess I should break the news here that I am going to Singapore.
Okay.
Are you aware of that?
No.
No, I don't have my credentials yet.
How are you going to do on the plane?
I'm going to do great. I'm going to do great. I'm just, you know, Gorka's going. So if Gorka's going, I think I should be able to go. Right?
I actually believed you that you would go.
No. God help whoever is flying next to you on any flight. I mean,
Live
Dana
version
knows,
of the GG show from Singapore?
Why shouldn't one of us be able to go?
I mean, Waters World should definitely go.
Yeah, you with Diamond and Silk in Singapore.
And Rodman.
And Rodman would fit right in.
Tommy Lahren.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, honestly.
Don't forget the Party Bros.
The thing about
The Party Bros, essential.
that intro, you know, it was so ridiculous, you know, especially a 70s show, right?
Yes.
But the thing is,
90s.
that's the world we're living in.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Come on, man, this is ridiculous. Now you're approaching the point where you say, this isn't. But this is absurdity. This is like something somebody dreamed up a play, and you'd say that play doesn't work. Nobody's going to believe that. That jumped the shark long time ago.
But but to your point, this is something that hasn't happened before, and maybe that's why it's happening, Dana. They took a salesman from Queens, like the process. You always look at this as like a process when you're buying a house or renovating a property. Could you say that that's how he's looking at this? I don't know.
Maybe, but I also think that one of the reasons it's happening as well is that the Kim family, with Kim Jong-un being the ultimate one, they got the nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
So now they feel like they're equals. They feel like they have an ability to come to the table and actually negotiate. And the sticking point about denuclearization, what does it really mean and how will it all work? I would say cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
I'm not necessarily a cynic or a skeptic on it. I do hope that it works, but I also know that we're dealing with the North Koreans.
Hey, I thought it was just dopes like me who were skeptical.
No, everybody is.
Oh, because
the show is called "We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
That's the whole point.
Greg is like defending the president as just a salesman from Queens. He's just a guy from Queens.
Yep.
Now, the Democrats' argument would be, oh, wait a second. Don't we usually have people who have mastered foreign affairs and diplomacy involved?
Like
and
John Kerry.
they decided, believe me, there were previous offers from the Kim family, the grandfather, father, and now him, for meetings, but everybody said no because we're not giving you that.
Old
and then
school.
you said that was dopey and old school.
That's right. This is new. You know what Trump is? He's like the Blair Witch Project. After that movie came out, all other movies changed.
With that horrible camera work.
Yes, the horrible game. I was terrified.
It made me sick.
And do you want to respond to Juan's misguided belief that we should be doing the same thing?
No, I didn't say the same thing because obviously,
mean the failed
as
diplomacy of the
Dana
past?
said,
Yeah.
the man has nukes now. He didn't have nukes before.
Right.
Well, so we got to make
how'd
sure.
that happen?
Yeah, well,
Under
we got to
Trump?
make sure that he
That's
doesn't
not
utilize
true.
it.
That is true.
Fake news.
No, that's not
That is
true,
true.
Juan.
Yeah.
Fake news.
Oh,
All right,
God.
so here's the thing. People get upset. They think, oh, Rodman, it's like a sideshow. He's obviously not going to have any place in the negotiations. This is going to be President Trump with Kim Jong-un. If Kim Jong-un feels more comfortable, like no one's out to kill him, with his friend for life, Dennis Rodman there, fine.
Right.
Give him his security blanket, okay?
Yeah.
Let him have him there. It'll
Party
be
player.
fine. Who cares? That's the bottom line. Like, if ultimately the goal gets achieved and they accomplish something and they're able to denuclearize, would anybody really care whether Dennis Rodman was in the country at the time or not? I'm about the results and moving on target and getting to the finish line there. So if that's some kind of peculiar thing that makes him feel more comfortable, that it isn't some kind of like, assassination plot on him or something, and he's like, okay, I'm going to be safe, my buddy. He's been there 6 times to North Korea.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
That's a
Who
great
would
point.
wanna
Do
say
you
that?
remember when the left sent James Taylor over to Europe for diplomacy?
Yeah.
And they thought that was brilliant? And
the
so
song.
Trump sends Rodman, and he gets beat up for that. I mean, I don't see what the difference is. Kimberly's point's exactly correct. He's met Little Rocket Man more than any other American on the face of the earth. They've done karaoke together. They've gone skiing together. They've played ping pong together, basketball. Listen to the things he said about Dennis Rodman. He says he's like a little kid who doesn't want war. He thinks Americans are going to try to take over the country, so he wants to nuke up, and he feels like that's his only defense. He wants to help his culture improve, and he loves America. They said when he went over there, he played the soundtrack of Dallas and...
He's like Greg.
and
Kim
Rocky
Jong-un, he's just
all
like
day
us. Yeah.
for 4 hours straight. He plays those theme songs. He likes the
So
Doors.
he is insane.
He likes the Doors and he likes Jimi Hendrix. But to your point about real estate, he's like a motivated buyer.
Right.
He really wants his country to succeed, and he really wants money, and Trump wants to help this guy out. So he brings him to this 5-star luxury resort where it's like a $3,500 tasting menu. Peacocks roaming around. It's got this like East meets West deal. It's a $6,000 presidential suite. He's saying, listen, capitalism could be good if you do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And by now he's read Art of the Deal, which was the president the last time he went.
Well, it is now. It's an old sales tactic that you have the client thinking they have something to lose that they already have. So they've gotten this far, and they don't. The thing that, and I've said this before, Giuliani, was talking about North Korea, and he says that he's got North Korea on his knees. These are the things you shouldn't be saying.
It's not necessary.
No, Giuliani, stop.
Do you say that at your private dinner party, not on television.
You want it to feel like a win-win, even if it might not be.
Right, I agree.
The real person we should be talking about going, John Bolton.
Is he going?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And I think
his mustache travels in first class.
Separately?
He's in business.
With extra leg room. Yeah.
Oh, John, it's not personal. But anyway, I think he's the one that scares Kim Jong-un. Right?
I agree.
And the reason is because, as Jesse was alluding to, the threat that someone's going to take him out, and what happened to Gaddafi when we made the Libya
That was
deal.
the problem when Bolton said that.
Right. It was a problem. But the contingent on part of that is, oh, wait a second. I think Bolton was a big opponent of the Iran deal. Ideally, if we had the best possible outcome from what happens, you know what? It would be the North Korean deal along the lines of the Iran deal when Bolton's an opponent there.
Wait, you mean where you can self-inspect your own nuclear facilities?
No,
you
no,
want
no.
the North Koreans to be able to do that?
Go on with that bogus argument. The fact is,
so you want to
we have a
give the
thing
North
that has
Koreans
been inspected.
$6 billion in cash? Is that what you want to do
Even
too?
the Trump administration certified the deal. So I'm just saying, you know, I think that what happens here, by the way, is we just go back and say, oh, yeah, the Korean War is over. We're going to try to be friends. This is the start of the process. I think the president said much the same.
Yeah, you could be right.
We'll see what happens.
The one thing, though, is there's breaking news today about, was it AP? President Obama fudging about the Iran.
Yeah, so apparently the Obama administration let the Iranians skirt all of these financial sanctions to give them access to like billions of dollars of hard American currency. That no one knew that. They had to get a lawsuit from, I believe, Judicial Watch to find that out, and then the AP reported it. So the Obama administration to make it easier for the Iranians, the largest state sponsor of terror, to get cash behind the world's back, and that's not a scandal?
It's not a scandal.
Not a scandal.
No, there you go.
Actually, wait, they had no scandals, right? No scandals in the Obama administration.
But I'm saying on this one, you knew that the whole idea was to give them the money that we had frozen. It was their money in the first place. And then secondly,
their money,
to try to, it was their money.
Yeah, it's
secondly, to try to reintegrate them into the global economic structure.
So why did
as
they
an
hide
incentive.
that? Why weren't they upfront about it?
Because just your reaction, because people would
because they didn't
go
want
hyperbolic.
mean waters to react that
No,
way.
they don't want people to go hyperbolic over something that...
Yeah, because it's something to get upset about.
We get Dana in.
Well, I was just going to say, it's not only that it was the Obama administration actually went to a couple of American banks and tried to ask them to do this. It's not money laundering, but it kind of feels like that, which is basically say, make this money right. And the banks refused.
Wait, so you're saying bankers have higher ethical standards
No.
than
It
the
wasn't about
Obama
ethics.
administration?
No, it was about penalties.
It was about concern that they would be penalized because of it.
Okay.
Kimberly, last word. How do you think the media is going to cover this?
Sensational. They're going to try and make some jokes about it because of Dennis Rodman, like they have. But nevertheless, I think the outcome of it is going to speak for itself, you know, in terms of being results-oriented. He's going to do what he does, and he's able to work deals. He's able to now go and meet with Kim Jong-un when no one else was able to get him to the table. Think about that.
Exactly. You know what I found in the green room? I found this book in the green room. It's Newt Gingrich's book.
Oh, that's my copy.
No, it's to Steve Doocy, a great guy. A great guy who's been a friend in the morning, and Steve left it in there.
Oh!
Yeah, some friend. Now I got a free book.
That hurts.
What is wrong with you?
Steve, never leave a book in the green room. More positive economic news pouring in for the president. What it means for the midterms next.
Is that true?
You will not be selling your books on Friday.
More positive economic news for the Trump administration ahead of the midterms. For the first time ever, there are more job openings in the U.S. than there are people who are unemployed. Trump's campaign manager is touting the president's accomplishments as a springboard to the upcoming elections.
The data's never looked better for the president. I don't say that. Articles are written that I say that just to make him happy. It's just not true. I mean, we've run the largest data operation survey work in the country, and we see that America is starting to see that their personal economies are getting better, national security is getting better, the things that are around there are happening. And I think they're starting to see these accomplishments. As much as the media doesn't want, outside of a couple stations and a couple people, how much they don't want to talk about the accomplishments, they're starting to get through it.
On the other side of the political aisle, outgoing Starbucks executive chairman Howard Schultz is calling out Democrats for going too far left.
I asked myself, how are we going to pay for all these things in terms of things like single payer or people espousing the fact that the government is going to give everyone a job? I don't think that's realistic. And I think we've got to get away from all of these falsehoods and start talking about the truth and not false promises. Right.
So it's always better, Jesse, to run on accomplishments than aspirations, because then you say, like, well, look, the proof's in the pudding. We have it right here. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, the Trump administration is going to run strong on the economy in 2020, and he's got the winds at his back. The New York Times had a headline the other day. It says, "We ran out of words to describe how good the job numbers are." That is from the New York Times.
Is that not fake news?
That's when it's not fake news.
Okay.
Now, when it's not good, that's when it's fake news. That's how that game works.
Got it.
And and I think the president feels very confident about it. So there's a lot of distractions out there with the kneeling or or, you know, with the Twitter stuff. But when you look at your personal economy, and that's what Brad's done, because he has the line on all these Americans through all these sophisticated data instruments that they have still left over from the election. Wages are going up, and they're going up for the first time since 2000, and they're going up for all Americans, because when you have such a tight job market like that, competition for jobs increases, and then you have to pay people more because there's more competition for better workers, and I think that's just going to keep going.
Well, and it's a little bit slow. I think that, you know, companies ought to be doing more, I think.
Yeah, because I don't think the numbers
Yeah, like this company.
Yeah.
But I don't think the wages are going up.
The wages are not going up.
No,
that's fake news.
No, the wages are not going up in the way that people think they should be. And guess what? Labor participation. Labor participation. Now, remember, you guys used to go on and on about, oh, Obama, yeah, the unemployment numbers are good, but look at labor participation. Well, look at labor participation now, you folks. It's terrible.
Right.
Wait. Labor participation
It means that the number
terrible?
of it's basically if Bob Beckel were here, because we've been having this debate for years, he would say that's because there are so many people retiring.
Right.
And it's
so
not
it's like
Obama's
a third
fault.
now. It's like 90 million Americans who are not.
That's the thing that you're going to take out of this
economy?
economy?
The big one for me
Give
was.
him credit, Juan. It's a good economy.
I give Obama credit. I give Trump credit for continuing Obama's policies.
Yeah, there it is.
But I would say that if you're talking about real change for someone at home, and I think that's what Howard Schultz was talking about, making a difference in people's lives, then you're talking about, are you getting more pay? Answer,
well,
no.
or is your pay getting eaten up by other things? Kimberly,
Right.
like in California, one of the big primary issues yesterday was that there was a proposal on the table for an additional gas tax in California, and that went over like a lead balloon there. That actually, that state senator got recalled because people are looking at the economy and saying, no, we are not going to be doing that.
Yeah, California is doing amazing. I mean, you want the rest of the country to be like that one? I don't think so. So now it's like you can take like one shower a week, get taxed on your pool, you'll get taxed right out of your house into an apartment, like a one-bedroom. Yeah, you can't drive your car, so then you can't get to work. So, I mean, it's so badly mismanaged in terms of the ideas, people waking up to it. But guess what? Like, when you have something like this, an economy that's booming, and you have people that are saying, wow, these are jobs that we can actually sustain our families with, that we can actually put kids in school and lunches together and be able to put dinner on the table and gas in the car. That's what Americans can feel and relate to. And that's why the president is in such a good position. It's very favorable right now in terms of looking forward and the economic predictors and indicators for midterms and for re-election, whether Democrats like it or not. Look, Bill Clinton had some good economic numbers as well, and it was able to.
And he got right through impeachment.
Pull him right over the top.
What do you say?
I'm certainly not forecasting anything. But what do you think about what Howard Schultz is saying? Like, is this a Democrat who, you know, he says he's not thinking about 2020, or maybe he will when he won't. I think he's definitely running. And is this something that the Democrats need, someone to pour cold water on their ideas?
Yeah, because right now, I mean, to Kimberly's point, I mean, America is this great, beautifully restored house on the hill, except there's one room that is rotten.
Right.
And it's California. And why is it rotten? It's a combination of spending and identity politics and a fear of dealing with the problems that they have that Schultz is talking about. As a California boy, and you're a California girl, you keep wondering, what is it going to take? Here's why nothing's happening in California. The rich liberals are safe. They got their real estate, and it's behind a gate. Meanwhile, it's a real-life dystopia everywhere else. It really is like the set of Mad Max. You have tents all over the street. You have defecating hordes. You have disease spreading. I'm not going to get into that again.
Please.
You have garbage trucks accidentally almost throwing people away. I mean, this is like it's like Soylent Green going on there. And so what you're talking about, here's a state run by liberals. It's the worst kind of economic inequality. And all you got to do is look at that. And I think that's what Schultz is probably getting at, is like, you can see the end result right there. It's a problem. This is a big deal. And it ain't going to be solved with progressive politics, because progressive politics
He's trying to be the Donald Trump of the left and provide a different sort of democratic populist movement.
And he's seen that in Seattle, too.
Yeah. Any businessman knows this is going to destroy.
Yeah, and that's why California, I think, would be the third biggest economy in the world.
Imagine if it was managed well.
Here's the threat. Here's the
Spite
threat.
of everything I said.
Here's
Wait
the
to
threat
see
to
what
what you're
happens.
talking about, which is the trade wars, and that's what even Republicans have trouble with Trump on this trade
I
issue.
agree.
And that's a big threat to all your discussion.
No, California is about economic inequality among the very rich and everybody else.
Yeah. Right, and China just responded to those tariffs, and they said we're going to buy $70 billion
They made an offer.
goods.
We'll see what goes. But, you know, Canada?
We'll see.
Canada's
You
not
sound like
so
Trump.
happy. No, we'll see, right? But
Our
I
new
say
show.
Canada.
We'll see what happens.
By the way, you
Yeah.
know, there's more jobs available than available workers. They need it. They need the work websites have to act like dating websites now, or dating apps.
Yeah.
Like
Or you're
Tinder
going to
for
have to look at
toilets.
immigration.
Oh,
Not to bring
there
that
you
up.
go.
All right.
Hey.
3 former top Obama officials facing new scrutiny for their conduct in the Clinton email investigation. We have details next.
Big new developments involving 3 former top Obama officials. According to a report, the Justice Department's Inspector General is concluding former FBI Director James Comey defied his authority at times. The IG also reportedly set to criticize former Attorney General Loretta Lynch over her handling of the Clinton email investigation, including her tarmac meeting with Bill Clinton. Meanwhile, fired FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe is asking for immunity in exchange for his congressional testimony about the Clinton email probe. Can you believe that? So, Jesse, you know, as a former prosecutor, I'm thinking to myself, he's looking for immunity because
he's got something.
Yeah, this is the problem. So why not take it forward, have him prosecuted for it instead of?
Well, right. A lot of people are saying, why not just give it to him and, you know, make him maybe flip on Comey? What does he know? Does he know anything about Loretta, about Slippery James? I mean, Dana's been saying all week this is bigger than Watergate, and I completely agree.
Yes. She said it a lot.
But when we're talking, McCabe's one thing, and we'll find out what he knows, and maybe we can do that through the threat of prosecution or not. But the leak of the IG report, I mean, that's just a big leak. I mean, that is a pretty big leak. And so people are coming out and saying, I've seen it, this is what's in it. So I don't know what to trust about the leak. We're saying that, you know, Comey was insubordinate, and he kind of, you know, did what he did. He marched to the beat of his own drum, and he did what he did with Loretta and kind of bigfooted her and made the announcement behind her back. And then he came out a week before the election and did the whole thing with the emails and Weiner. We kind of knew that already. It's about whether or not there's going to be a criminal referral. And if this is it, okay. We kind of knew that already. I think there's more that we're going to see from the IG report, and there's still going to be another IG report about the abuses under FISA with then candidate.
Can I jump in and say you're right? And I'd rarely say that to you, but I think where's the beef?
Wait,
on
I must
this?
be wrong if you're agreeing
because
with me.
Rethink everything,
you know,
Jesse.
Trump has been pumping out the release of this IG report from the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz. He said, oh, this is going to be terrible because it's going to undermine not only Comey's credibility, but the Mueller probe. Here's the leak. I don't know if the leak is complete, comprehensive.
Yeah, we don't know.
But what we know so far would lead me to think, this ain't much, folks. This is, if anything, this report supports Hillary Clinton's complaint that, in fact, Mueller was out to get her. Comey was out to get her.
Well, the reason why Comey was out to get her was to make sure that when she won, there would be no questions, right? Wasn't that the whole point? He was trying to do her a favor because he wanted her to win because he was a partisan hack. This is not just bigger than Watergate. It's bigger than Water's World.
Oh, my gosh.
I think
is huge.
It is huge.
I respectfully disagree.
By the way, I love the idea of immunity, but it's used incorrectly. It's used in court. Immunity should be able to be used at your workplace, on Twitter, in relationships.
Yeah.
Like, why is it just in court? The people use immunity in court so that you could screw over some other person. It's like, I'm going to give Jesse immunity so you would narc on Dana.
Right.
We should be able to do that at work.
Okay.
Well, I would not have
That was
anything
helpful.
to narc on Dana for because she's squeaky clean.
Squeaky, you can hear her from over here. So Dana, obviously McCabe has issues because of the previous IG report saying that he lied to the FBI, so he wants immunity here. I don't believe that the Senate will do that for him.
Well, also, what happens with an Inspector General report is they come up with a report, and then if you are named in it, you get a chance to look at it. And so that's, I think, why we have the leaks, is because these people who I don't know who leaked it, but now several people have probably had a chance to look at it. Their lawyers have looked at it. And so what happens is in a government investigation, one of the things that they can do, if you've left government, there's not that much the IG can do, but they have access to all of the government's devices of text and email. So that could be quite deadly for somebody in this situation. They also, because this has become so partisan, McCabe might think, I'm going to ask for immunity because no matter what I say, these Republicans are going to come after me to protect President Trump and vice versa. Loretta Lynch might think the same thing, et cetera.
By the way, before we go, we should note that last week we were all heavy into Spygate. And now you have not only Trey Gowdy, but Speaker Ryan saying, nothing there.
And Senator Burr.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Well,
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
no, there's actually
Not over yet.
I mean,
over yet.
there is
Wait till
actually
9
something
o'clock.
there. I mean,
Yes.
you could laugh about it, but there is something there.
Oh, yeah, what?
And they haven't seen any of those documents when they were saying
An
that
informant?
there
They have
was
to, make sure
everything was
it's recorded.
proper. They didn't see the documents.
I see.
Look at Juan. Just took the wind right out of his sails, poor thing. All right. President Trump blasting the media for speculating about the First Lady and what he is saying ahead. Stay with us.
You can't touch this.
First Lady Melania Trump appearing with the president today amid wild media speculation. President Trump ripping the press for spreading rumors on Twitter. The fake news media has been so unfair and vicious to my wife and our great First Lady, Melania. During her recovery from surgery, they reported everything from near death to facelift to left the White House and me for New York or Virginia to abuse. All fake. She is doing really well. Greg, so we talked about this the other day. Now Melania's back.
Yes.
How humiliating was this for them?
I don't think they can see that they're humiliated. They're in a bubble of confirmation bias. They can spin it any way they want. I do have a new narrative for Brian Stelter. He should say on his show, how do we know that's the real Melania?
Ooh.
Maybe it's a body double or perhaps a hologram, and she's actually in a cell in a castle underwater made of skulls. Because that's about it. But it's true. This is what cognitive dissonance does to people. They can't see how they react irrationally to every word in every story. Their myopia is malignant, and they should look foolish. They should step out of their bubble and see how silly and stupid they are, and maybe send some flowers.
They should be kind to her.
Exactly.
But I can't get you because it seems to me like Donald Trump spread more conspiracy theories than anybody. I mean, wasn't he worried about Hillary's health? Wasn't he saying Obama wasn't born in the country? Wasn't he saying?
Well, Hillary's health was a concern, Juan.
Oh, no, now, but it wasn't any concern.
But she was running to be president.
Yeah, she collapsed
Oh, yeah.
on the ground, and the Scooby Van had to come. And it was like all
Oh,
kinds
yeah,
of
and I think this morning, over on MSNBC.
This whataboutism is not.
They went crazy because of the mention of the facelift business, right? Because guess who did that first? Donald Trump.
Was that ever disproven?
What? You and Alex Jones.
All right, let's get this back on track.
No, but I'm just I got to point out the whataboutism. We all get Donald Trump. We remember what he said about Ted Cruz's dad. We get it, but you know what? This woman is like, she's just coming off surgery, and these guys acted like vultures. That's the bottom line, right?
Well, I think that like news and entertainment have melded, and they're just everybody is fascinated
Not here.
by this White House and by this administration. She was missing for 26 days. It wasn't like it was 26 months or something like that. The bigger story of the missing person to me is the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia. Love to know more about that. But the other thing is they were at FEMA to get a briefing on the hurricane, and you see like the entire cabinet is there. That's how seriously they're taking hurricane prep. That was the bigger headline out of that.
Yeah, I think the media is just totally out of line with this, and in particular, I know, Dane, you talked about this earlier on your program, talking about abuse, suggesting that the president had abused her, that she was in hiding, and that. So the fact that he stood up for her and that he addressed this, I like that. He should have come out and said that, and I think it was smart that he did. It's good to stick up for his wife and for the First Lady, who's done an incredible job for the country. My gosh, she's not allowed to recuperate from a surgery. I mean, what is wrong with everybody? They should be showing some respect and giving her some privacy like they would if it were Michelle Obama or, any other First Lady that serves the country. She's back, she's doing well, and that's that. It just makes them look really foolish.
And these were not little Twitter people that had no names.
There
These
some
were
blue
legitimate
and
reporters.
some were conservative.
Yes. So now I'm glad we
Are you going
put
to do
that
your thing? Look him up.
Look him up.
President Clinton tries to walk back his controversial Monica Lewinsky comments. Next.
A do-over for Bill Clinton after receiving backlash for appearing insensitive to Monica Lewinsky in a sit-down interview with NBC earlier this week. The former president took a second shot at clarifying his remarks.
When I saw the interview, I thought that because they had to, distill it. And it looked like I was saying I didn't apologize and I had no intention to, and I was mad at me. It wasn't my finest hour.
Not my finest hour. What do you say, Dana?
I think that is good and appropriate, and I also think it sounds like somebody in the communications team got a hold of him and said, this would be a good thing to say. And he said it, and so, okay, I don't know if it resolves
So nothing sincere?
No, I think that's one of the things that Bill Clinton has always had, right, is that even if he's saying a line that he's been given, that people think that he feels their pain. The sincerity quotient was actually quite high with him.
Okay. So, Kimberly, one of the things he said got some attention was that the interviewer, he said he got offended with the interview without realizing that the young man, whose name is Craig Melvin, is young enough to be his son. Was that blaming the interviewer, or was that legit?
No, that was his initial reaction was, oh, well, I was offended sort of by the nature of the question, him asking it. Look, it was a fair question. I think the young man conducted a good interview. Bill Clinton is showing contrition now. He's very good at being believable and saying, okay, this is how I think and this is how I feel. I'm sure he did get backlash about it. I'm sure that, yes, comms teams members were like, listen, you've got to clean this up because you've just like huge mess in aisle 7 right now and everybody's upset with you. So it was an unforced error, but he is good at sort of trying to make it better. Still, that was something that he should have thought about and he shouldn't have reacted that way. That was like his truest voice about it in terms of being offended, like he felt that he was the victim, that he left the White House in debt for $16 million. Those are not relatable, comments. He's lucky that Hillary is not running
Also,
again.
is he 70? I mean, most reporters in America could be his offspring. From the age group standpoint, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, gosh. I think you're like, wow.
That's not, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
I don't know how old Craig Melvin is, but I mean, if you're 70, then like most people could be your children.
I think he's
like
39 or 40.
You know what I mean?
We get it.
We get it.
I mean, I watched the clip back, and even I was mad at me.
All right. So, Jesse, the critical point was on the Craig Melvin thing that Clinton said, hey, I did apologize, but this guy doesn't remember. And then he went on, I think the part that got people really aggravated, especially his critics, was he said he left the White House $16 million in debt, as if that spoke to the issue, but that doesn't speak to the issue of what happened in the Oval Office with an intern.
I wish I was rich enough to be $16 million in debt. Like Kimberly said, it's just not relatable. And only a Democrat can get a do-over in the mainstream media.
Oh, is that right?
Isn't that amazing how he just gets to go in there?
Double standard.
Hey, if you had to say this again, what would you say, Mr. President? I mean, come on,
That's
Colbert. That was pretty nice of you.
It'd be front page everywhere if it was,
I know. Right.
But if it was who? Teflon Don?
Teflon Don.
Oh, please.
Well, he would never apologize. That's the difference.
He would never be mad at himself.
Never.
So what do you think?
Well, here's the issue. No one's going to miss you if you never leave. And as long as Bill is around, no one's going to miss him. He's got to go away. And you think about the presidents like Jimmy Carter, who went away and built homes, or GW, who paints. I'm all about helping people, and I think we need to find Bill Clinton a job that doesn't place him in the spotlight. And I was thinking he could probably open up, because he likes to be around people. He should open up like a seafood restaurant or something in New Orleans. He could have the blue dress special.
Oh God!
And maybe you could have a cigar bar, but you could just be there.
That's what got him in trouble in the first.
And he could hit on waitresses,
but
he could be out because the problem is there's no tasteful exit for the Clintons. They just linger like a bad odor, and it's born from ambivalent selfishness. He is not thinking that every time he does these shows, he's just making it worse. retire. It's, you know, being on TV, being famous, it's not all it cracks up to be, trust me.
Yeah.
Take a break, open a restaurant, have some fun.
And
I mean, not that kind of fun, but have some fun.
He has lost a step a little bit since his days in office. He's had a few of these moments. Didn't he yell at Chris Wallace and like, point at his face and get all red? And then he was asked about something on the trail at a diner and he kind of snapped on an NBC reporter. He has these moments where he creates headaches for the Clinton team. And he always has to clean it up.
He's
frustrated. But that's what's also lovable about Bill. He's so passionate, he can't control himself. He makes a mistake, and then he comes back.
Sounds
and
relatable all of a sudden.
Yes.
So relatable. You know, when he speaks, I feel like he's just speaking to me. I'm like, I'm the only one in the room.
Pick up the tips. Pick up the tips. Yeah.
You know, but if obviously they were in a different era from Monica, Dana, with the hashtag #MeToo and all the revelations. So I think it's interesting. I'm not sure that we can honestly understand his perspective because this guy is plus 70, lives in a different era.
But I think the reason we have Me Too, in some ways, is that it was building for 20 years.
Right.
And 20 years ago is when that whole thing went down.
I think it's even longer than that.
Build it.
And Harvey'd been doing it for 20 years, and Bill Cosby'd been doing it for 20 years, so you get the excuse can't fly.
Yeah, all right. Controversy. One More Thing is up next to make you laugh.
One more thing, Juan.
Well, 50 years ago today, Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated in Los Angeles. The brother of the former president who was assassinated, John F. Kennedy, was running for president when he was killed. Today, members of his family, former President Clinton and others, went to Arlington National Cemetery to celebrate his life. Here's his son, Congressman Joe Kennedy III, remembering his grandfather and the love he had for his surviving wife, Ethel.
His love, ever enduring, of his extraordinary wife and partner, who 50 years after his passing still wears her wedding ring.
It's pretty emotional. There's no doubt RFK, a great American patriot, changed this country for the better.
All right. Dana.
I've got a heartwarming story you're gonna love. All right? All right.
I'll be the judge.
This is from San Diego, and it is Hoover High School, where food service worker Deborah Davis, affectionately called Aunt Debbie by the students, was surprised with a new, reliable way to get to work. She has been working there at the school for years. She also volunteers at the food, for homeless people and at a food shelter, volunteers in a nursing home. And she had a terrible car to get to work, so the Recycled Rides and Kids for Peace bought the car, and then the students at the school fixed it up in the shop, and this is what she said.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much. I was looking for my reward in heaven, and y'all gave me a little bit here on earth.
So it was a fun way to end the school year there at Hoover High School, and a lovely thing to do.
Just raises the question, where do you get the giant bows for cars?
Great question.
Thank you. Can somebody email me that?
Brain room?
I would like to give the giant bow as a gift, but have it on the top of a car. Like, look at this giant bow I got you. Wouldn't that be great?
But not the car.
But no, yeah, a brand new car come in and just say, look, I delivered this bow.
Well, sometimes
anyway.
they have those at the dealership when you get a car for Christmas or.
I know, Jesse, I'm sorry.
Take me out to the ball game. That's what Juan would have done to set it up. But I'm going to just, right there at the Padres-Braves game, they pop it up. And oh, where did it land? In the ladies' beer.
Oh.
Gabby DeMarco catches a foul ball right in her cup. And look what she does with it after she catches it.
She drinks it?
She takes the ball there and down the hatch. She chugs it. Of course, she got to chug the beer.
Every
if it
man's
lands in your
dream.
cup.
I don't go to the
That's why you don't go to baseball.
I'm afraid I'm going to get hit in the head.
Well, they've extended the nets.
Nice
Okay,
form.
that was better than the softball play from yesterday.
No, that was pretty good. But that's fun. I love that.
Kimberly?
Mine is in the cute and adorable category, although that was pretty impressive, that catch. Okay, so you like golden retrievers, Dana?
Yep,
You might,
love 'em.
right? Okay,
Are they
so
dogs?
golden retrievers, yes, they're dogs, help this cute little toddler escape from room at night. Now, she's 15 months old. Her name is Chloe, and she's been escaping from her bedroom in the middle of the night, right? And so her parents are like, what is going on? How is she getting out? So these little two pet golden retrievers would actually open the door, like help her get out, because then she feeds them treats. So they were like, here we go, let's break her out, and she'll feed us.
Those dogs
so
are
they
smart.
set up I mean, how smart are these dogs? They're like, we've
good.
got a way.
that?
So
That's
in the
amazing.
middle, Quinette found it for me. She's very
Cute.
good. Isn't this adorable, though?
Oh my God.
And then she feeds them. They're happy, like, see you tomorrow night.
All right, I have my new Fox News podcast is up. It's with Robert Cialdini. He's the author of Influence and Persuasion. He's considered by many people to be the Godzilla of persuasion. You read any of his books, it changes the way you think about stuff. But first, time for this, Greg's disgusting news. Avert your eyes to this horrible, horrible video. It looks to me like a cute hedgehog napping on a stuffed animal, and I think it's disgusting.
It's getting a little scuttle.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Look at that.
Cute.
That's pretty cute.
I think
Looks a
he
little
has
like Kilmeade.
I think he has a Greg haircut.
Yeah, see that? No, it's more like Kilmeade. You can
Look
like
at
the
this,
hair
see?
plugs.
Right?
All right.
Oh, my God. You're
Kilmeade's hair plugs.
No, you're getting so mean.
Yes. Wait. You know what?
Kilmeade and Ducey hate you now.
You know what? Feelings mutual. All right. Get ready for your news cannon. Her name.